Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Lissier here, and I'm happy to say we're ending a year of challenges and so many things this year. So, what I want to do is give everybody a lot of Tongren and a lot of hope, and know that if we lead our lives through the heart of compassion, we will be able to share and have a great new year. So let me just get our friends on Instagram on board. And there we go. Go live. And we need this. So let's tap right away. And I will get right there. There we go. This one is Joe. So blood flow to the brain for everyone. Does anybody need any blood flow to the brain? So today I'm going to ask everybody to interact more. I hope that works out. So we will begin right away. We have Happy Mama. Get in there quick. Great. We get homeopathy. I am. Who doesn't, right? I'm glad you gave me. Somebody's listening. Good. Good for you. You and your dad will be joining us for a workshop with all of our community, which would be great. It'd be excellent to see you guys. So we've got people on Facebook, the website, and Instagram. So hopefully we've got a strange hack going on Facebook. PGBDSMFCHUBOR.ONG. That's called a bot hack. So what I want to hear from everybody, what are your New Year's resolutions? Let me hear them. And I will also tap for them. And then at the end, we will talk about this. 2 amazing techniques for a gift for everyone for the new year for improving your health, guaranteed and almost free. In addition to Tongren, my class. So let's begin right away. Happy Mama, it is awesome to see you. Perfect blood and lymph. And we have from our other interactions, we have Esther and Catherine. So let me hear about your New Year's resolutions. Hi, Esther. Here we go. So today is interaction, and at the end, I will give you 2 life-saving tips that have saved the lives of many and changed the lives of many. And it is my goal just to give you everything possible. So me and Mr. Laser here, and if you all have a better name for Mr. Laser, I'd be happy to take that on. We can call him Mr. Tongren, but I think that's already taken. Blood flow to the brain. So let's work on perfect blood and lymph for everyone. Blood carries oxygen. Oxygen is anti-cancer, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation. Those 4 things are the critical parts of optimal health. Those are the things, and they've been talked about in research for hundreds of years. So the key is to create a lifestyle that will support those 4 pillars of optimal health. So at the beginning of our website page, and we can probably add them to Facebook too, are my favorite sources for teas and herbs and clay. Clay should be there as well. Yep. So those are basic components that support those 4 pillars: anti-cancer, antioxidant, antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammation. Remember those 4 things. You can manage those 4 things, and you can reverse almost any condition. No joke. So, balancing the endocrine system. And make sure we get every single comment from everyone. And there are many ways to do it. We have a person here today. They work with homeopathy, which is a brilliant medicine. It's been around for centuries and it's worked. It can reduce pandemics. It can reduce inflammation. It can release emotional blockages. It is a very smart medicine. Herbal medicine is amazing. Clay as medicine is critical. Number 1 for detoxing. So, balancing the endocrine system, the central nervous system, and working with Happy Mama. So, overall circulation. Homeopathy is 200 years old, and it is older than allopathic medicine. And it is not based upon focused, targeted, unholistic treatments. And if you want to put in your website, homeopathy.lm, I think is your website. I think everybody should check it out. That's for a good source of sincere, well-researched, well-founded homeopathy. We can mention your name. I don't do it unless I get permission. So vertebral artery to the spinal artery. And somebody is asking if we can tap for COVID. So the website for the homeopathy is homeopathylm.com. And what we can do, in fact, as a reminder, if I have a list of all my go-to sources, I will add in unless it's there already, at the very top of the chat on my website, I will add in Homeopathy LM so that people during the session can have a resource. So let's work on perfect blood. What makes blood? The bone marrow. The spongy part of the bone marrow is a blood manufacturer. Excuse me. And I may have had something really bizarre these days. It's called a cold. Wow. T1 for the bones, T3 for the lymph. And we will tap for gratitude. So what we'll be talking at the end of the session, every breath you take, your tailbone moves. When the tailbone moves, it has a relationship with 2 things. One is your craniosacral fluid, and number 2, your bone marrow. Bone marrow is building your white blood cells, your red blood cells, your platelets, and all your blood stuff. So good breathing positively impacts your blood cell quality. And this device right here is one way easily to manage that process. T1 for the bones, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7. But our biggest lymph points, T3, T7, spleen, our largest lymph node of the body. Blood circulation, GV17. And then another good point for the bones. So when we work on blood, we work on bones and the blood and the spleen. GB39. So then another major thing we do for everyone is a lymph tune-up. Axillary lymph, the armpits. Inguinal lymph for the groin. Lymphatic duct to the subclavian artery to release toxins to the blood, and the liver and the kidney do their work. Craniosacral boost is from the sphenoid bone, GB789, to the tailbone, 1, 2, 3, 4. TB 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, those are a thing. Those are real points. Now in Tongren. Used mostly in Europe first, but that made so much sense. I needed to adopt tailbone 1, 2, 3, 4. And grounding to liver 3. And again, GB39 for a boost for the bones, bone marrow, and blood. Liver 3 and kidney 1. So it looks like we have a good amount of people, even though it's really close to New Year's Day. And I just wanted to play for a second. You ready? I think I have a sound effect. Tong Ren. Happy New Year. Only Tong Ren works. Okay. Just trying to keep everybody on board here. Okay, so next. Any requests from Instagram? Not yet. Next, we will work with Esther. Lower back spasms, mobility, skin, and possible psoriatic arthritis. A book comes to mind, Dr. Batman Gelage, The Water Cure, and a book called You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. He did a ton of work on research with water. What I recommend for people to hydrate is to drink up to 64 ounces in between meals, 32 ounces in between your first meal and second meal, breakfast and lunch, and then lunch and dinner, 32 ounces each time with apple cider vinegar in it. It's a great way to hydrate. And it's the hydration. I use one of two methods in my colon cleanses and detox cleanses. The detox cleanse uses clay. You drink clay. So, lower back spasms. So let's work on that. So Esther and Catherine, we work on first the eyes for everyone. Central nervous system, but GV17 for eye pressure and the eyes, the medulla. Let's work on optic nerves, GV22, 19, 20, 24. Sorry about that, GV24 for the optic nerve. So let's work on both three supplies, blood supplies for the eyes, the facial artery, the carotid artery, and the vertebral artery. Three main ways to nourish the eyes. the ouch point of the eyes. You can even put a laser there. So you want to support the liver with bitter herbs. So anybody got their New Year's resolution in there yet? Come on. Let's see. Faris is here, which is great. Good to see you. We'll work on optic nerve again for your mom. Oh, yep, there you go. To pay attention to my bodily health again. So the bottom line is you're worth it. Self-care is important because the better and healthier you are, the more you can be of service to others. That's your lesson. It's not selfish to take care of yourself, because if you're not healthy, you can take care of one person. If you're healthy, you can take care of 10. And that's a good thing. That's how we take care of each other. So let's work on the eyes. And C3 is the main Tongren point for the eyes and the nerves. So we got more people on Instagram. 2022 will be a great year. Let's call it the year of the breath. That's what I'm calling it. The year of gratitude, the year of sincerity. And let's get some checking out different things. Be open and question everything, even what I say. Anti-inflammation for the eyes. Anti-inflammation for lower back spasms. I think I found a good new source for magnesium spray. It's a company called Symbiotica. Yes, and for homeopathy.lm, if you email me like a one line and the link and stuff, I'll keep it here and I'll put it in more newsletters. I'll be putting out lots more newsletters with lots more content in the future. I did create a banner for you with your URL in it. So C3 for the eyes, for Catherine, vertebral artery to the eye area, facial artery, and the liver, which in Chinese medicine has a relationship with the eyes, and anger, which has a relationship with the liver. Yep, so I don't forget to put your stuff in there, and I'll just, it's repeated every week, so it'll be permanent. So my way of doing healing is creating an international network of people doing service for others. So I have Native American in Nevada, wheatgrass expert in Australia, homeopath in Arizona, herbalist in Massachusetts, aloe expert in, I think it's Utah, so let's continue to work for lower back spasms for Esther, T7, right side blood flow. So we work on blood flow and nerve flow, and we do have a workshop coming up for Be Your Own Healer. Believe it or not, I think there's already 6 people in it. It's going to be a great year. T7 for blood flow to the lower back, and lumbosacral plexus for the lower back. And let's work directly on lumbar 1 to 5 for the lower back area. we've got quite a few people from Instagram, the website, and should be 4 social media places: Facebook pages. We just want to get the word out there. Lumbosacral plexus, and then of course for the lower back spasms, magnesium spray from that company Symbiotica, Cymbiotika, or the website of Dr. Circus. So GB39 for the sciatic nerve, which can create pain up and down the legs and the lower back, big time. And loosen up the hips a little bit. So T123478 for arthritis. Yep, and my network includes a clay master in Oregon, an herbal company, Herbal Master from Texas. And these are great people. My virtual community of healers. If there's something I don't know, I have people to go to, ask them questions. And a micronutrient expert in Sweden, or is it Switzerland? Switzerland. And this guy, he's from Sweden, the guy who does this one. So, grounding, liver 3, and kidney 1. And let's do some more ouch points on the eyes for Catherine. For all you guys on Facebook, if you get a chance, let me know your New Year's resolution. You know, if you put it in your mind, it can become a reality. Vision boards work. We are what we think. We are not what we are. Our relationship with the world is determined through the filter of our mind. If we change our mind, we change the world. Anything is possible. Never give up. Do your homework. Question everything. See if I can make it a little bit more dramatic. Question everything. Even Tongren. Oh, that's it. We'll work on that. That's my inadvertent homemade sound effects. And that's all I got, folks. So we've got cool specimen, arthritis, hips, calcium deposits in right hip. Okay. And then Angela. And let's go over to CD Horun. Help me to pronounce that name. That would be great. Because I want to respect your name as it should be pronounced. I don't want to make a mistake. But I will call it your name CD for now, and work for your mother's fluid in legs with kidney problems. So fluid in the legs, let's talk about that. Silly fella. Who's the silly fella here? I'm getting texts as we speak. So fluid in the legs with kidney problem health. So there's a great product from Global Healing. There's a link for Global Healing for renal Trex. It's a great way. It's better than a salt pill for helping with edema and supporting the kidneys at the same time. It's called Renal Trex, Renaltrex, and we will do it from a Tongren perspective as well. And one question I have about people on my website, people sign in, sign out, sign in, sign out. Is that because there's something wrong with the website, or you just want to change your name? Let me know. in case it's an issue that I can work on and always interested in improving. So today we were finalizing 2022, and as expected, we would have 22 workshops and programs. I didn't do that on purpose, but it just happened that way. 22 is a good year. So blood flow to the brain for everyone. The brain, we work on the brain command points for the initialization of the central nervous system. And if everybody is there sitting and breathing, you can even enhance your Tongren therapy by closing your eyes, and when I say place, put your mind there in your own body, and you will bring additional chi and energy to the spot and enhance the chi flow throughout your entire body. So right now we're working on the command points of the brain, GV 19, 20, 21, 22. Circulation for your mother, CD, GV 17. And let me know where you're connecting to us from, CD. It would be great to know where you're coming from. Vertebral artery to the spinal artery. Happy New Year to all. And Angela, we will work with you next. And let's check to see if anyone is Instagramming us. Instagramification. I made that word up, but it'll probably be viral within moments. Instagramification, as opposed to instant gratification. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, all inflammation. T3 for the lymph, to help with the kidney circulation. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. So let's work directly on the kidneys. And we will not miss Cool Specimen. You're next. So Cool Specimen, Angela, and we're working with CD right at this moment. And Dell, is that from the UK? So again, lower legs issues. So we've got a lot going on in the lower back. That includes the kidneys, the brachial plexus nerves, the T7 blood supply to the lower back. So let's do that for everyone. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, anti-inflammation. T7 for blood supply. L2 for nerve supply, by electricity supply. So that's our two-part effect, with a bonus, an advanced one, which is craniosacral. Blood flow, nerve flow, craniosacral flow. So let's work some more on the kidneys. And we'll even work on the kidney meridian. So the renal tracts, lymphatic massage on the legs would be very helpful. Very gentle. The lymph circulation is very gentle. It doesn't take a lot. You can even use skin brushing, which is really good, very gentle, to increase the lymph. Look up skin brushing for everyone. That's a great technique to do for yourself for the lymph. And a lot of times liquids build up because the body is toxic. So the key would be to remove the toxins to allow the water to flow in the body. And the best way to do that is through herbs or plants like cilantro, spirulina, sea vegetables, as well as clay. So the kidney health problem, and the liver, T9, and the right eye, T9, right side for the liver, right side for the sky window, for the blood flow to the right eye, and the right eye directly. So we're going to work with cool specimen, arthritis, Angela, non-occurrence breast cancer, and for COVID. But let's also work on the lower back. We'll do this a few times. T7, blood flow to the lower back, lumbar 1 to 5, nerve flow to the lower back, and then the bundle of nerves, the lumbosacral plexus, and those bundles of nerves rope together to form the sciatic nerve. TB39, a very special point just for that. So MS572, how's things going? Out in the wild, wild west of Boston. Otherwise known as Wellesley, Weston. All the important places on the west of Boston start with W. We all know that. And let's work directly on the legs in two areas. Bladder 54, but especially the gallbladder meridian along the side of the legs. This will help to bring energy down. It's the line right at the IT band. So how's everybody doing? You still with me, you guys? We're going to tap for the cold and flu. And I read your, your resolution. So let's just all have a resolution for a peaceful, calm, productive year. So there we go for Dell. And grounding for liver 3 and kidney, yes, kidney 1. Spleen 6, so a 3-part process I use now for grounding. Spleen 6, liver 3, kidney 1. Instead of the traditional 2 parts, now we use 3. Spleen 6, which is great for grounding. It's also called in Chinese San Yin Jiao, which means the meeting of the 3 yin channels. So it's very powerful for yin, which is parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, and grounding. And again, right eye for Sydney's mom. So I'd like to hear from you, CD, where you're coming from. Everyone, it'd be good to know. So next, we will work with cool specimen. Arthritis in the hips, so blood flow to the brain. You can't do anything without nourishment and blood flow. You can't do anything without your brain, so we initialize blood flow to the body and initialize and wake up the brain. And we initialize three main systems when we work on the brain. Central nervous system, sensory cortex and motor cortex. We work on the endocrine system, hypothalamus, pituitary, and we work on actually 3 more systems, cardiac, respiratory, and vasculatory system. So that's 5 systems we initialize when we work on the brain. So arthritis, T1 to 3, 4, 7, 8. So let me tell you why we do that. T1 is for the bones and B cells. These are the cells that are part of our immune system, and they reduce inflammation. Bones and B cells, T2, thymus, and T cells, killer cells. And they're getting their workout in the time of COVID. T3, lungs and lymph, garbage collection, circulation, and removing toxins to allow oxygen and nutrients in, toxins out. T4 for the breasts. For Angela, it says non-occurrence, which I think means you're in remission or it's non-recurring, which all sounds like great news. Happy to hear it. So for breast metastases prevention, we work on the axillary lymph. We do not want stagnation in the armpits. We want lymph circulation big time. So the endocrine med causes anxiety and elevated blood pressure. So again, GV17. GV20, the master gland for the endocrine system. GV17 for the master area of the blood pressure. So I recommend increasing your daily intake of beet juice or fermented beets to naturally work with your elevated blood pressure. Sleep, T7, but there's also sleep techniques, breathing techniques, which we're all going to do together today for those of you that hang out to the end. These are busy times. We have quite a few. I skipped you. Adrenal health, despair, and let's do that. Kimby's, it didn't show up right away. So we have Happy Mama, Kimby's, and we will do that right now. Okay. Vertebral artery. And we do the adrenals, L1, 2, but we'll do that. Adrenal health, detox, healing, broken right foot. Vertebral artery to the spinal artery, and L2 for the adrenals, L1 for the adrenals rather. T7, blood flow and nerve flow. Detox, T9, but the microbiome especially for everyone, T11, T12, L4, L5. So for detox, clay is the best option. Overnight clay poultices for about a week. We'll put that foot back together. But let's work on the blood flow to the broken foot area and the nerve flow, the brachial plexus. So, yep, feel free. If I skip you, call me out on it and remind me. Don't let me miss anyone. And continue with the arthritis, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Lumbosacral plexus for the legs, and calcium balancing. Let's do calcium balancing for everyone, which we need to work on. C6, C7, T1, because of the calcium deposits. And the building of bone requires removing of bone and adding of bone. It's a constant rebuilding process, osteoblasts, osteoclasts, and that's managed through the C6, C7, thyroid and parathyroid, and T1 for the bones. So let's really do a boost for the bones for everyone. So thank you for the reminder, Kimby's. Make sure you included T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. T123-478 for anti-inflammation. So for cool specimen, pay attention to your body. Health, again, is a great reminder for all of us. We don't have a lot of time on this planet, but the body is our vehicle to spend time and be of service to others. And cool specimen, arthritis in the hips, make sure we didn't miss that. T123-478. C6, C7, calcium deposits in the right hip. Pituitary, master gland of the endocrine system, C6, C7, which deals with calcium deposits in the right hip. T123-478, arthritis, and then lumbosacral plexus for the hips themselves, especially the right hip. So we want to work on the hip ouch point areas, lumbosacral plexus, the nerves for the hip, and the blood flow to the hip, which is T7, right side. Hip to hip, lumbosacral plexus, sciatic on both sides. For the legs for everyone. And work on that calcium deposit. If you drink dairy products, that's a great way to get calcium deposits. It has an inappropriate ratio of calcium, magnesium, potassium, so it has a net over donation of calcium to the body, and it can build calcium deposits. The other way to do it is through acidic conditions, where you're eating acidic foods, too many acidic thoughts, lack of hydration. So when you work on those things, you can also remove calcium deposits. So both legs, make sure we didn't miss del, lumbosacral plexus for both legs, sciatic for both legs. And grounding, bladder 54, and the ouch point for both legs for Dal. And thank you for joining us, everyone. Vagus nerve down the torso to CV17, increase oxygen, reducing inflammation, supporting arthritis. So three points that are really good for oxygenation. One is the vagus, the phrenic nerve of the neck. The second is the lung points, lung 1, lung 2, right in about there and here. And 3 is the diaphragm itself, CV17. So those 3 are very powerful for increasing oxygen. And then grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. So let's work directly on COVID for everyone. So for anyone that has had COVID, I recommend heart herbs, oxygen herbs. COVID is very commonly known to create something called myocarditis and pericarditis, which means it creates inflammation of the heart and the pericardium around the heart. It also creates potentially can have side effects of stroke and other things. Really great tea for COVID and vaccinations is pine needle tea. Blood flow to the brain. And then we'll work with Nathan. But before that, we'll work with Ferris. So COVID, the same for the cold and the flu for Nathan and COVID. So the best thing you can do is sanitize your sinuses with steaming through the sinuses with lavender essential oils. So that will sanitize your sinus, your throat, and your lungs. Vertebral artery to the spinal artery. So let's work on C3, 4, 5 for the nose and throat for COVID. Let's work on oxygen, T3, T1, 2, 3, T3 for the lungs and the lymph. But we don't want to stop for the optic nerve, which is GV 19, 20, 21, 22, GV 24 for Ferris. Nerve atrophy, which is sometimes can be a lack of oxygen or a lack of nutrients. So there are a few people here. There are some herbal stem cell regenerators for the eyes, and we need to find the best one. So that's our mission for everyone with any eye issues. Plant-based stem cell regeneration for the macular and the eyes is what we need to find. The best one. There's actually a lot of them out there. Most of them probably don't do anything. And Mr. Laser has a recommendation as well, which is an eye formula from, I think it's Symbiotica. So also for the eyes and eyesight, GV17, but 3 blood flows to the eyes. The sky window, which is the carotid artery, vertebral artery, and the facial artery. Optic nerve, GV24 again. So C1, GV24, a 2-part process to support the optic nerve. One, two, three, 4, 7, 8, anti-inflammation. So next we're going to work with Isaac and the Blue Sky Mom. How you doing, Blue Sky? Vertebral artery to the spinal artery to the entire spine. Let's work on the ouch point for the eyes, as well as the liver for the eyes and detoxing. But again, ouch point for the eyes. And grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. Okay, so we've worked with Nathan for the cold and flu, COVID. And again, oh, there's a new message from Ferris. We will do the flu at Corona again. And we have Drew and a few more. So let's get to it. Blood flow to the brain for Blue Sky. GB13 right side for confidence. Insulin resistance for Isaac. Reduce your fat intake to 10%. You will get rid of your insulin resistance. And it depends. There might be a blockage on the pancreas, which is T8 right side. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. T8 right side for the pancreas. T3 for eye health for the mom. C3 rather. And T3 for the lung for the health for the dad. Let's also give the dad some other points. Lung 1, lung 2 for the lungs as well. And lung 1, 2, 3 for insulin resistance and Isaac. GB13, relaxed mind for the family and confidence. T3 for the lungs. And again, lung 1, lung 2 in the front. T3 for the lungs, the nerves in the back. T8 for the pancreas. And grounding to bladder 54. Liver 3. And kidney 1. So we've got a few more requests. So Ferris, we will definitely do the COVID protocol. And Kimby's, we did get you. We did not skip you. And Angela, we get non-occurrence breast cancer. We did not skip you. And we get you all covered. So let's do it. So Drew and Pam, blood flow to the brain. Digestion, heart circulation, GV17. For Drew and Pam, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, arthritis. And the hips. Calcium deposit on the right hip. Clay baths will neutralize and balance out those minerals. Continue to work for Drew. T11, T12, L4, L5 for digestion. Heart circulation, T5, T6, and GV17. Good to hear from you, Drew. So let's also continue to work on the pancreas as always for Drew, T8 right side. Make sure we cover everything completely. And grounding, liver 3 and kidney 1 for Drew, especially the kidneys. L1, L2 for the kidneys for Drew to support everything else. And grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. Good to hear from you. Oh, let's do also CV17 for Drew for the digestion. That's a great point for digestion for everyone. Okay, so we want to work on Kimby's detox and despair and popular local oxygen. Scott G. Hey, Scott. Yep, for the discount, I'll extend that deadline for the discount for you. I'm reading over your notes. But thanks for checking in. So we are working on despair, detox, and oxygen. GB 19, 20, 21, 22. GB 17 for circulation and despair. We work on GB 13 right side and T3 the lungs for despair and sadness. But don't despair. It's going to be a great year. So let's do an oxygen. We'll do part two from now on for the rest of the day for everyone. One is an oxygen, 3 parts: oxygen, lymph, and COVID or corona or flu. So oxygen, blood flow to the brain, sky window, vertebral artery, occipital artery. So what are the mechanisms of oxygen? Of course, the lungs, T3 for the lungs. What's the mechanism for oxygen capacity? The diaphragm, T6. So people are asking about the Detox and Cleanse program. It's 2-part. There is a discount. For those that are interested, I can extend that discount out through a couple more days. Microbiome, T11, T12, and we get a couple of 3 requests, and we're good. We'll get that. As we continue, emotional stress, GB13, right side. There we go. GB13, stress, dealing with a family member that has cancer. Vertebral artery to the spinal artery, and we work on CV17, the heart chakra, for balancing emotions for everyone. So GB13 and CV17, a good 2-part balance. GB13, the right frontal lobe. CV17 for the heart chakra and the heart the center of emotions and passions. Vertebral artery to the spinal artery. GB13 for emotional, GB right side, and GB13 left side for rational and practical side, and can also deal with stress. Vertebral artery to the spinal artery, reduce inflammation and stress. So from a food perspective, lots of fermented foods because it builds up the gut, the microbiome, healthy, happy hormones, serotonins, and different things. And they come from the gut, more from the gut than from the brain. So healthy fermented foods. So lumbar 1 to 5 and the cancer of the prostate, lymph, and bone. The bone T1, lymph T3, and our lymph tune-up, the armpits, and the groin, and the lymphatic duct. And hello, Momashari. And we're finishing up. Good to see you. So let's work on it from two sides for the prostate. L3 for the nerve flow. CV4 for the chi flow. And the Dantian battery charging. And grounding to the feet. Liver 3. And kidney 1. So everyone take a nice deep breath, relax. Breathe only through your nose, that's the healing breath. Feet flat on the floor. Charge the lower dantian, which I think is the best for everyone today. So we've opened up the blockages and pathways. Why not flood it with chi to go to the new places? And we will balance out any chaotic energy with coherent vibration. Happy New Year to everyone. I will see you all in the far, far away future of next year. And remember, Tongren is devoid of the space-time continuum. And if you replay this video, you will still continue to receive the benefit. The benefit of Tongren. And the last thing I'd like to say is if you look up consciousbreathing.com, this is resistance breathing. It increases oxygen. It's the easiest, one of the most profound techniques I've ever seen. It's cheap too. So that's my takeaway for the new year, along with another recommendation, which is Wim Hof breath work another way to optimize and increase oxygen into the cells. So with that said, thank you everyone for joining us. Happy New Year, and be well, and take care, everyone. See you next year.